This is Umar for BoxNation. We're in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, back in the kingdom, joined by Andy Lee. We're just having a chat off camera there quickly. You had some career in BoxNation, many fights, and it's the first time we've got you on since we relaunched, so welcome.
We're back. BoxNation, yeah. The home of boxing for many years. And great memories there. In the studio with Bunsey and Barry Jones, Gary, Shogun Logan. And yeah, some great late nights for all the fights. And yeah, it carried the flag for a while there, didn't it? You know what I mean? And brought boxing fans, great fights from all over the world. And I was lucky enough to fight on it several times. And yeah, it's good memories.
Absolutely. Your fondest memory, fondest fight?
I know my world title fight when I won that was on BoxNation. Even though it was in Vegas, it was broadcast at home on BoxNation. So there's a great video of Barry Jones and Gary Logan jumping up out of their seats when I won. So yeah, great memories, and being in there as a pundit myself with a few of the fights. It was good. Running 4 a.m. shifts and all, you know.
You and Billy Joe was a massive fight on BoxNation as well.
Yeah, that was a big one on there. I don't like to remember that one, though.
No, of course not. We'll move on from that. Andy, yeah, here for an incredible occasion, really. I think this is the fight that, if you asked and did a survey, that most boxing fans would tick Beterbiev v. Bivol. Are you leaning towards someone this Saturday or not?
Yeah, at the moment I'm slightly leaning towards Beterbiev, even though that wasn't always the case. He's highly skilled, massive punching technician, you know, and Bivol is a beautiful boxer. Huge education in boxing, huge skill and grace and elegance to him, and has the tools to win the fight. But if I had to pick somebody, and it's just a narrow call, I'd go with Beterbiev down the stretch, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. What's Bivol's route to victory in this fight?
Bivol's route to victory is try not to, which is the hardest thing to do, concede too much ground, stay off the ropes, use feints to make Beterbiev punch first, drift out of distance when he does punch, and then come back and fire. I don't think Bivol negated a lot of Alvarez's attacks because he kept a high guard and took a lot of the shots on the elbows, the shoulders, and the forearms. I think it'll be much more dangerous to do that with Beterbiev because he's a bigger puncher. I think he'll have to. He'll have to take it sometime on the gloves, but not concede too much ground. But sometimes concede ground. You know, it's going for Bivol to win. It's going to be one of the best boxing performances I think we'll have seen, because it will take that to beat somebody like Beterbiev. So yeah. Bivol did well with Canelo, and you look at the fights, but Canelo is not somebody who will really counterpunch you when you punch. He'll let you punch, take them, and then come back. He can counterpunch Canelo, but he doesn't always. But Beterbiev will counter. He will slip your punch and come back. He has a good slip right hand. So yeah, it's a great fight, but and listen, Bivol can win. It's a real 50-50.
Would you put these guys in the same class even before Saturday night as your Bernard Hopkinses, your Roy Jones Juniors? Would you put them in that ilk?
Oh, those are all timers. Not sure. Roy Jones is the best to me. You know, it's generational. Could these guys beat Roy Jones in his prime? I don't know, when he was like in his prime, with the athleticism, hand speed, unpredictability. I don't know. Well, Roy Jones is my idol anyway, so I don't. It wouldn't be, but they're up there. They're
probably both going to end up in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, the winner of it probably does. The winner of this fight probably does. Yeah.
Okay. Just away from this, Andy, because I know you've done plenty of interviews and you've got plenty more, and we're a bit pressed for time. I do want to move on to the heavyweight division. I'd say the glamour division in boxing right now, and you work with one of the most popular fighters in the world, Big Joe. Before we come on to the latest on him, What is it actually like to work with Joseph Parker? It must be an absolute pleasure.
It is a pleasure. And over the years, we've developed this relationship, this bond and friendship and trust to the point where if he's in a fight with Wilder or Zhang, and it's a dangerous situation. The trust is there where if I call a punch, he'll do it immediately, or a combination. But he works extremely hard, Joseph, and he has changed his career over the last year. His link up with George has been phenomenal, and he's what it's done for him working with George Lockhart has given him the fitness to be able to train properly for boxing. But yeah, he's a pleasure to work with, and you know what he's like to be around outside the gym. You will not meet a nicer person than Joseph Parker, and it's not an act. That's how he is all the time.
I've not heard one person in boxing say a bad word about him.
Yeah, and as I said, he's changed his career. Not just a nice person, but could be, and possibly could be the best heavyweight in the world right now. He just needs the opportunity to prove it.
With Cabell Bacoli being ordered, he was linked with those guys. I spoke to Joseph himself. He said he'd be happy to fight either man. That leads me directly, surely, to a rematch with Zhilei Zhang. Is that what you guys are targeting?
We're targeting Usyk. We're targeting Dubois. We want belts.
But in the meanwhile, obviously, you've got the rematch
John
between
needs to
Tyson and
fight.
Usyk.
Yeah, John needs to fight. Looks like Joshua. I'm not sure what they're saying. Joshua might has a rematch clause. When he takes the rematch, he might.
Do you think he should?
Yeah, I think he should. But there's also the element of he could wait and fight Tyson. Win or lose, he could fight Tyson. If Tyson wins or loses, that's still a big fight between them two. So it's a risk taking the rematch. But I think he can win the rematch, Joshua. That was a heavyweight shootout, and it's the difference between one punch landing. It changes the result of that fight. But back to Joseph, we're looking at the top guys. Joe's got 2 signature wins. He's beaten Wilder, he's beaten Zhang. Talk about like Bacoli, who's a handful, who could be the best heavyweight in the world. He hasn't got no signature wins. He's beaten Anderson. He's beaten who else? Takam. He's got Tony Yoka. Those are good wins, but they're not signature wins. He hasn't beaten an elite fighter yet. Same with Cabell. He's beaten Sanchez. He's beaten Makhmedov, but they're not signature wins. Joseph has 2 signatures. Joseph's beaten Wilder and he's beaten Zhang, and we want to press on and push up the rankings. So we're ahead of those 2 guys, but they are formidable and they are hard fights for anybody. And if we don't get a championship fight in the next fight, then we will happily fight those guys.
How would Joe Parker get on with Daniel Dubois right now?
Dubois has shown that he's hugely improved with Don Charles. They've done a great job. They deserve a lot of credit. Both of them do. And he's shown a real resilience and an unwavering confidence in himself, that even though he took some big shots, he was under serious pressure against Miller, took some big shots off Herkovich, and took some big shots off Joshua. He never once wavered. Looked like there was a thought that he was going to lose. So he's got a real belief with Don Charles. But Joseph is a different fighter than Joshua, than Herkovich, and Miller. Joseph is a very, very clever boxer and puncher. He can do a lot. He can do a lot of different things, and both of those guys can do. Has hand speed and ability, also good defensively. And I think, as I said, Joseph can beat them all. He just needs to be given the opportunity.
Okay. As I said, we are pressed for time, so I do want to come on to the big man. I know Joseph Parker's a big man, but your 6'9" man, Tyson Fury, he's just adamant he's got to go and knock him out. And the way he's talking reminds me about how he was talking before the second fight with Wilder. Do you get that feeling as well?
Yeah, but listen, he's very determined, very motivated, as you would expect him to be. And as I've said, he wasn't like, that was not a good reflection, the first fight, and it was still a very close fight. Couldn't spar for the fight because of a cut over the eye, 10 million bounty and all this stuff on the eye. So couldn't risk getting a cut open, couldn't risk sparring, and you're going into the biggest fight of your career against the best opponent with no sparring. So that's how you're going to perform. He couldn't maintain his attacks, couldn't sustain his attacks, had to take breaks. And Usyk, who's a great fighter, could pick up on that, but it still ended up being a close fight. So give Tyson a full camp, sparring, conditioning, and he's going to be a lot better.
Andy, what went wrong in the corner on that night?
Nothing went wrong in the corner. Nothing. What went wrong?
It seemed on the TV. It seemed like chaos.
No, it wasn't chaos. You got a dad in the corner, and who John was saying a lot of good things. He was giving good advice, but he's also come from a perspective of a dad who's watching his son in a fight. And then you've got Sugar Hill, who is always the main voice in the corner, who Tyson listens to anyway. And they have their shorthand of phrases and things they work on during the gym that they know, that Tyson understands what Sugar's saying, and Sugar knows what Tyson's... Like, Tyson will understand what Sugar says if nobody else does, in terms of the phrases he uses. My input was, in round 11, round 12, you have to win the last 2 rounds. And I had to say that because I knew Tyson was down on the cards. And I had to say that
Was
he was
that
down.
the instruction given from everyone going into the last 2 rounds?
No, I don't know, but I'm not sure everyone was aware. I was told that he's down on the cards. I said, you're down. You need to win. That was it. It had to be said.
That first half of the fight, I was honestly thinking he was going to stop Usyk. What changed? Was it the fact that his nose bust? He just lost a bit of focus? What happened there?
Well, the nose affected him. But you could tell he couldn't spar for the fight, so he wasn't going to be fit going down the stretch. And Usyk picked up on that, and it encouraged him to attack, and he got buoyant from that, because up to round 8 Tyson was cruising. You know, Usyk had 2 good first rounds. Once Tyson adjusted, he was enjoying himself, and probably enjoying himself too much, because he ended up throwing a silly uppercut combination, and Usyk came over the top, and Tyson paid the price.
Okay. Lastly, just before we close off, a man that everyone's talking about at the moment is Hamzah Sheeraz. I'm sure you appreciate his talent at the moment. He's been ordered to fight Janabek. He's been linked with Chris Eubank Jr. He's offered the Canelo Alvarez fight. Just your general thoughts on Hamzah, and can he beat Janabek?
He's a good fighter. I remember him, there was some controversy when he fought Bradley Skeet. Remember that? And there was this kind of goodwill towards Bradley and badwill towards Hamzah. But he's since turned that around. He's got a lot of fans' attention with his performances. And that performance over Tyler Jolly, not Tyler. Is Tyler Jolly, what was his name?
Denny.
Tyler Denny. Who's Tyler Jolly?
I don't know.
There's a heavyweight called Tyler Jolly,
there?
is he?
How long ago?
I don't know. Dom Jolly.
Have you just dreamt that, Andy?
No, Tyler Jolly is somebody.
Oh, Jolly. I thought you said
Tyler
Janabek.
Jolly is a light welterweight from Scotland.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You
He's a
weren't
Commonwealth champion.
Okay.
That's who his name is. Tyler Denny. Listen, you saw what Denny did with Cash, and then Hamzah goes out and wipes him out, so that shows you the level he's at. Janabek is a different prospect. Janabek's like one of these guys in the main event. He's cut from that Eastern European cloth, and it's a good fight, but I think give it time, because Sheeraz is young.
You wouldn't take it now for him?
No, he's a star. He doesn't need to be given anybody. It's like what Tyson said, remember, about these. You don't need to be giving these guys a chance. Take the fight when you're ready, not when they want it. And but he's building momentum. There's still some other good fights out there for him yet, before he steps up to that level.
Andy Lee, it's always a pleasure.
Yep.
Hopefully we get some news on Joe Parker soon.
Yep.
Thanks.
Joe for the championship.